Hello and welcome to the WDW News Today Podcast. My name's Eric Morton. With me as always, Tom Corliss.
Hello.
Hello, Tom.
91 of these we've done. What are we going to do for 100 of them? We have to do something special, right?
Yeah, we'll do it live.
We'll eat 100 weird food items.
100 M&Ms.
No, they have to be weird things. 100 weird food items.
Happy New Year.
He's like, let me change the topic before this happens.
I don't want to plan.
Happy New Year, Eric.
If you have ideas for the 100th episode, let us know. It's great to be here in 2026. 2025, rough year for some people. It was a long year, I feel like. And we're already off and
Why
running.
were you checking your shoes? Was it a rough year for your shoes?
Yeah.
You like, what? Where am I?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. There are so many things that we have planned for this year.
Yeah.
So many things that I have planned personally for this year. And, boy, we're getting right into it. We're not wasting any time. We're jumping right in.
That's not true of this podcast. We're going to waste time for the next 30 minutes before we get to a topic, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you've never watched the podcast before, that's how it goes. You saw there's a title of the podcast, and that's just where the conversation ended up. The conversation starts right here, where we do all kinds of silly things. We answer viewer emails, and we eat stupid foods, and we banter about nonsense. So, did you make any resolutions?
None that I can say on this show.
All right.
None that would be
There you have
prudent to announce to the public. I will say I think the company made a resolution that in 2026, we had such a banner year for Carousel of Products that 2026 is going to be, we had a resolution, it's going to be an even bigger year for Carousel of Products. And part of that is you guys were so supportive of the Magnet of the Month program that we're launching another monthly program on January 15th, which will be the Pin of the Month.
The Pin of the Month?
It'll be the same art every month, so you could get a pin or a magnet, or you could subscribe to both if you want both. But we figured it'd be nice to have something, try to have that art available for everybody. Not everybody has places to put a magnet. Maybe you don't have a car. Maybe your fridge is already full. So maybe something you could put on a pin board, or you could wear, or display somewhere.
We did have someone one time complain that the magnet would not stick to their Lamborghini because it was made of carbon fiber.
We're looking into that.
We're looking into that issue. If you're having that issue,
get ready for the carbon fiber magnet of the month launching later in 2026. We'll do about 5 of them a month, and we'll sell one anyway. So magnet of the month, also pin of the month. So there is a new January design for both the magnet and the pin, and we have a little bit of a teaser. I think we're going to show that. This will be the first time anyone's seen the teaser. Yeah, so carouselproducts.com if you want to subscribe today, become a member of the Magnet of the Month program. On the 15th, we will launch memberships for the Pin of the Month. Again, they will share the same art every month. Now, because the Magnet of the Month program launched well ahead of the Pin of the Month program, we had, there's seven.
Seven?
Yeah, seven. There are 7 magnet designs we released last year that then don't have a pin. And that didn't feel right. So we decided to make all 7 magnets as pins, and they're available right now at carouselproducts.com. They are each a limited edition of 250, and the kicker is they are in mystery boxes. You get 2 mystery pins for $22.99, and you can collect all 7 if you'd like, or just buy 1 box, whatever you'd like. But those 7 designs, which would be Gertie the Dinosaur, Sunny Eclipse, the Carnotaur from Dinosaur, Aladar from Dinosaur, Peter Gabriel from Food Rocks, Dr. Seeker and Dr. Marsh from Dinosaur, and Santa Gertie are all available in that mystery box set right now. We've sold about, I think, 170 of these so far. And again, there's only 250 of each pin, so they're going relatively fast. If you're a Wigs member, you get your discount, of course. But carouselproducts.com. So this is the kickoff to the Pin of the Month collection. This is the only way we're going to release these first 7, and this is how you'll get them. And then starting January 15th, you could subscribe to get January's art as a pin, and every month subsequent.
I'm excited. I love them as pins. I love them as magnets, but I don't really have anywhere to put magnets.
I'm a pin guy, so it's like I love the magnet. My car is. I'm starting to have to go around the side of the car now. So I think by the end of this year, it's like the whole back third of the car will be magnets. But I love pins are my thing, and I love to see Peter Gabriel as a pin. I nearly cried because it just was. It's never happened before. It will never happen again. So my goal is 2 or 3 times in 2026 to release a character that's like that. That's you would have never imagined in a million years anyone would have ever made that Disney Parks character happen. And I know, much to the chagrin of Eric.
I love Peter Gabriel. I didn't have a problem with Peter Gabriel. I just disagreed with the timing of the Peter Gabriel.
Yeah,
that was it.
For those that don't know the story, I wanted, so the Magnet of the Month began with 3 magnets that were made as giveaways for Tampa Bay Comic-Con. We had to come up with something we could give out to people that came to our table. And it was a 3-day event, so we decided, what if we parodied the Walt Disney World Annual Pass Holder magnets? And so that's what we did. And the demand was so great, whatever we had left over, which wasn't much, we started selling that Monday, and people were so excited. And Eric came in and he goes, what if we did a Magnet of the Month? And I was like, that's a great idea, Eric. Let's do it. And that's how the Magnet of the Month program began. And then I think somewhere towards the end of last year, I walked in and was like, we got to have another form. If people don't want magnets, they still like the art. I really want to give people the opportunity to take the art home. And so the pin of the month idea came up. And also we've wanted to do a mystery pin set for years. I would dare say the last 5 or 6 years. We've talked about doing a mystery pin set. I'm so excited. The boxes came out really cool. They look like real mystery pin boxes.
Yeah, they are real mystery pin boxes.
I mean, they are. I just mean like Disney. They look like Disney made, which is the goal is we want our product to look we want to look the same in quality as, or in some cases better than what Disney is selling.
If you want a sticker club, let us know in the comments.
I don't know about sticker. I don't know. I think the magnets and the pins.
I think the sticker thing is because people have those Stanley cups and their laptops and these things that you put stickers on. They're cheap and you could get one for a few bucks and not miss out on having the beautiful artwork.
Now there are, if you're a completionist of the month collection, there are 2 stickers that were made. There was, I believe, or maybe there were more than 2. There was a regular Gertie sticker that was made very early in the program, which I think you had to find Nana or some people at the office got handed
Santa
them.
Gertie.
Then Santa Gertie was made because of the slight delay on the inflatable Gerties going out, and we put those in the packages.
Did we make Sunny Eclipse ones too?
Yes.
Wasn't
Did
Sunny
we?
Eclipse
Oh, there
stickers
is.
too?
Oh.
He was the delay. Like Santa Gertie got there.
Oh, that's right. That's
Santa
right. So
Gertie
there
got
are
there.
3.
It was Sunny Eclipse that was like
So
where
Gertie-
everyone were waiting for customs and everything else. And
Regular Gertie was never sold nor mailed to people. It was just a thing like Nana handed out or we gave out some at the office. Then you're right. Sunny Eclipse we made as a apology for the delay on Sunny Eclipse. If you ordered the plush, you got the sticker, which I don't know if you still do. I know we might be out of the stickers now.
I think they came if you were in that first batch or if you got the limited edition.
We kept putting them in, I think. I think we were like, well, we still have them. We should just give them to people. And then Santa Gertie, if you ordered the inflatable, it was in your bag when you opened your bag, which those are gone.
Yep.
Inflatable Gertie completely sold out.
Inflatable Santa Gertie.
And I did the double check to make sure there were none being hidden somewhere in the building. They are actually 100% sold out.
I was so stressed about that product from the time it came out of my mouth. And you guys were like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, boy. So it's a product we've never made before. We don't really know what we're doing.
It's
we
super
don't
high
know how long-
investment.
super expensive to create. It's going to be, most expensive product we probably ever sold. And
I don't think you've seen those.
we sold them all. What's this? Is that
It's
Bay Lake Tower? Wow, there's Santa Gertie in the window of Bay Lake Tower. I saw there was one on somebody's balcony at the
a
at
bungalow.
one of the bungalows.
There was a bungalow for a couple of days, and it was like the one on the end, so everyone on the ferry boat saw Gertie.
Yeah.
So Gertie at the but also Gertie. I can send this to Billy to show. Someone had a Gertie in their room at Bay Lake Tower against the window, which it's quite large. So that took up a good amount of their room. I don't know. Maybe that was a 2-bedroom. I don't know room placement in that hotel.
She's worth it.
It might have been a 2-bedroom.
Give her a review.
And so many of you sent us photos, or at least me, photos of your Gerties out and about, whether they're in your home, outside your home, in the snow, in a parade. That thing went everywhere. I love the admiration and support of Gertie that's happened worldwide with this inflatable. The plush, we started it all with the plush. The plush was a big deal. And then the inflatable took it to a whole nother level. It was a crazy year.
What do we have? There's so much
product.
pressure this year.
Yeah.
We got to come up with something better than the inflatable Santa Gertie.
This was a great shirt.
That shirt was good
for the goodbye Muppet Vision. Yeah.
But it wasn't as big. Not as many of those are in the wild as
no. But
Gertie
Steve Whitmire wears this to conventions, so the shirt is not to be snubbed.
And not to be outdone, we have our Tip Top Club shirt.
Yeah.
Our Tower of Terror.
What's left of those.
Button up. That Disney released a video on social media, and one of the actors in the video is wearing that shirt.
What are you talking about?
Did you not hear about this?
No.
We'll get to it later.
Which social media?
Huh?
What? Where's the shirt?
Obviously, Billy, you can edit something.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. The Carousel of Products logo and everything. See, and they blurred. That's some other. I know what shirt that is. That's somebody's third-party Living with the Land shirt, and they blurred that. They did not blur our Tip Top Club shirt.
They didn't know.
I just think it was hard to blur because it was his whole shirt. But
yeah,
that's so cool. I love that shirt. They're still available in very limited sizes, and they're also discounted.
Are you serious?
They're discount. I think there's only like 2 or 3 sizes left, and there's like 2 of each left. The thing about the shirts is I never get to really announce a sellout on the shirts because like 2 smalls and 2 large will sit forever until someone that has that wants that size buys them. So like the Spaceship Earth one is kind of gone, but there's weird off. Yeah. There's like a couple of random
extra
sizes.
Small or something.
Well, not even extra small, but sometimes even like a large or an XL will sit there, but just one because we're not advertising the product anymore.
Maybe so. Sized products are difficult, but maybe next year we do a different size inflatable Santa Gertie, and they make it taller than your house. We make like a 14-foot tall
actual
inflatable
size.
Santa Gertie.
It's the size of the actual Gertie.
Some of those like Fort Wilderness people would be into that, man.
Yeah. There is a height limit, is there not? I think there's a height limit of some kind. Idea. I don't know. But that's cool. I did not know about that. That's cool that our shirt. It's not nearly as cool as the bungalow thing. The bungalow thing was crazy because someone just sent that in. One of our reporters like, there's a Gertie on a patio at the bungalow. There's a Gertie on the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for weird snack time? It's
sure.
Weird snack time. We don't have a song, but we have a piece.
If only there was like a piano player that worked here or something.
All right, so this is Chinese. Lay's makes this product. Chinese, and I had to send the image into like Google Lens to figure out what it is. It says it is big wavy potato chips, crispy roasted chicken wing flavor by Lay's. Chinese.
I don't know, Eric. I don't know that we would have been able to figure it out based on the image. Based on the image on the package, would we ever have been able to figure out that it's a big wavy chip flavored like a chicken wing?
No, I knew it was chicken, but I didn't know. There are different kinds of chicken. It could have been a different flavor of chicken. It could have been a buffalo chicken. It could have been whatever. This is just chicken, crispy chicken.
It just looks like chicken.
That could have rosemary.
I'm glad you checked. And 50%.
Less
50% less pride.
Bad things. 50% less bad things.
Go ahead. How long has this been sitting here?
A while.
Where did you get all this?
World Market.
Let's eat a wavy chicken chip.
Oh no, Eric's face.
It smells like curry.
Yeah.
That is not half bad.
I'll try another one because I don't know. I kind of agree with you on the curry thing. They just taste like they're lightly curry flavored.
They're not bad.
No.
I could definitely eat it. Here, Katie, would you like? No, Katie's like, No, sir. I'll save it for later. There you have it. That was Weird Snack.
You got to rank it at
Oh, yeah.
rate it at 7.
5.
Sure.
Enthusiastic, sure, from Tom.
I expected more flavor-wise from them. They're kind of disappointing. They're good. They're just
It's got a lot of
they
flavor.
just taste like curry. I don't know that they taste like baked chicken wing to me.
Not to me. All right.
Oh, the smell got over here.
It's time for the Voices of Literacy.
Pigs in space.
If you would like to write us, you can write to Eric M at WDWNT.com. Eric with a C.
And to no other email account.
And probably don't try any of the other ones. You can just do Eric. Eric works. It's not a real email address. It just forwards it to Eric M. Either way, does work. This one's from Bud. Bud says, "Hi, guys. I'm a huge fan. Tom might remember me, no hard feelings if he doesn't, but I was a kid who drove from Cincinnati in one night with his mom and sister to do the WDWNT Museum
Oh,
tour.
I do remember.
I loved every minute of it, so thank you guys for that. I'm actually going to college now to hopefully become an Imagineer one day. I already do a lot of storyboarding and ride concepts for rides I may want to build in the future." That's pretty awesome. "I was born after Horizons closed, but it's my favorite ride of all time because of its amazing goal of teaching people about the past visionaries to inspire people to create a good future. This is where my question comes from. When discussing past rides like Journey into Imagination or Horizons or 20K, people always talk about wanting Disney to rebuild them or make a sequel to them. I must admit, I've tried to come up with concepts for sequels to Horizons and other rides. I just don't know if sequels to rides like these could ever capture the magic of the originals. Do you think Disney would ever consider a true rebuild of Horizons type ride, where the goal of the ride goes back to edutainment rather than IP, or do you think Epcot, specifically Future World, and the edutainment is a relic of the past? Also, do you think a Horizons rebuild updated to fit it to modern technology and culture would work with modern day guests if Disney were to build it?"
There's a number of reasons Horizons is tough. Number one is technology moves so much faster than it used to. If you look at what's really interesting is you could look at the development of new technology through the lens purely of Epcot Center from 1982 to till not so much today, but probably up until the 2010s. And you'll see like technology, it moves fast, but it doesn't move so fast that the rides at least could make 5 to 10 years before they felt outdated. Now I think it would be 2 to 3 and maybe less. Interventions exhibits sometimes towards the end of Interventions felt like, oh, this thing's been open for 2 years. Everything in here is already out of date. So I think from that aspect, no. But here's the thing. Spaceship Earth is supposed to be about the history of human communication. But under the Siemens redo, it became about inventing the technology of the future. And it's kind of the story of human invention, which I don't like, but I get it. I would tend to think there's an update of Spaceship Earth coming sometime in our lifetimes. And I think it's probably going to focus more on a vision of the future that is Horizons-esque than maybe the story of communication and mankind, because I think they've kind of pushed away from that now in Spaceship Earth. So I think Spaceship Earth spiritually will become sort of a successor to Horizons. I don't think you'll ever get anything like a Horizons again. Spaceship Earth, thankfully, it's in the park icon. It feels untouchable. I think people would riot if you tried to get rid of it. And so that's like the last. That and Living with the Land get to be the last.
Imagine how stupid that would be to get rid of an attraction that's in the park's icon.
Yeah. That explained the theme of the park.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine. There's such a focus on IP now, and certainly we can't see 30, 40, 50 years into the future. Maybe there will be a day where original attraction ideas are relevant to guests again, and there's a taste for that. There clearly is not a taste for it now, either from the company side nor from the guest side. Look, I believe in the art, and I believe you could open a great attraction that's not based on a movie or TV show or video game, and it would find success. But neither one of the major theme park competitors believes in that. I think we're lucky that the fandom has carried so many of these classic attractions to a level where people know about it And so there are opportunities for merchandise or homages or like look at Beacon Barrel. We got a pirate bar, but the coolest part of the pirate bar for me is that a lost piece of Pirates of the Caribbean came back to life in Peg Leg Pete. You have there's some similar examples of things that have been done. I have to think about it, but there's been some other stuff in recent years where there's some nice homages for fans, and it's like, oh well, that's nice that lives on. New Test Track has a lot of World of Motion in it, several references, which is nice. That's kind of those little victories are, I think, what we have. I don't think, especially something like Horizons, I don't think you're ever going to see an Epcot that's focused on the world and its problems and that they can be solved by coming together and through technology. I don't see that again. Figment is the one. Figment is the one exclusion, I think. I think at some point a sequel to the original Journey into Imagination has to happen. That I think we will continue to knock on that door, knock on Disney's door and complain until the day we see that ride. And so someday we're going to win that fight. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday they're going to buckle on that one. Are there any other ones I could see them buckling on? Probably not. I do tend to believe, look, I think there's a world 10, 15, 20 years from now where Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway has had its time and it's passé. And I think we will revisit Great Movie Ride. I think it'll be purely Disney-owned movies because that'll make sense to the company and to a modern audience. But so I think like Great Movie Ride and Figment are the two things where I'm like that. Those are the two things that could have a revival. Anything else, Horizons, World of Motion, any of that Epcot Center stuff, like you're never getting the Universe Energy bag. Like it's never happening. Those are it's too much of an ask.
Interestingly, though, he talks about sequels, and Horizons was a spiritual sequel to the Carousel of Progress. And now there's going to be a new Carousel of Progress. So in a way, you could make a case for this could be the sequel to Horizons, which was the sequel to the first Carousel of Progress. Except, and I've heard a lot of criticism of Horizons, and one of them was that these very futuristic technologies they talk about, we were already kind of on the cusp of achieving. That they were no longer future, they were kind of today. But at the same time,
several things in Horizons we still haven't achieved.
Several things we haven't. And there are people, look, there are resorts or cities that are on the bottom of the ocean and people living as full-time residents in space, or at least tourists in space. There's a lot of stuff on Horizons that we have not achieved. I don't know that necessarily means progress, right? We do have humans who exist long-term in space. We do have humans who exist long-term underwater.
Yeah.
But in terms of this sort of fun vision of a future where your family could be, where the grandparents live, in space or where, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly where everybody lived, but I know they had the daughter that, lived in the sea base, right? And had the Beach Boy, Tom Fitzgerald.
And Rover the Sea Lion.
And then, there's the little boy out in space. This
Tommy.
Lost
his boot.
His boot.
Yeah. What if I just float away?
But I think what's more important to me than that the thing has the DNA of Horizons, which I do think that would be great. I don't think it's likely it would happen, is that I want to bring back giant people-eating rides that are 17, 20 minutes long.
I wish.
Where you get fully immersed in this thing and you can sit and relax and it eats people and it reduces ride strain throughout the rest of the park. Right? We saw that Universal has learned nothing about this with what they've done with Epic Universe, where there's nothing that eats people, so the people are just in line all day, and the guest satisfaction is very low.
Monsters Unchained, man, and I'm not saying because monsters eat people.
Yeah.
That's not I'm not making a joke. That ride is continuously loading. When it's operating, that's a good one.
No, that's a good one, but I think
that's why that wait time's always pretty reasonable.
But anybody who goes to that park is like
the rest of it, forget it. It's the opposite.
Is guest satisfaction is very low at that park, and it's not because the rides aren't good. Guest satisfaction is low because the whole of the park didn't consider that people need other things to do. And so I think those big rides like that load quick, that load easy, there's rarely a really long line. It can you can handle, I don't know, what Horizons probably could handle 3,000 people an hour or something like that. I'm not sure.
There's at least over 2,500, I would bet.
So those type of big attractions, I want to see a return of those. Like I kind of like those. Some people see those as time killers. Like let me just get in the air conditioning, kill some time. I actually enjoy those experiences.
I think there's such a feeling that Omni movers are out of date, and I don't think that's correct. I think the last couple outings of the Omni mover just weren't the right choices. I don't hate the Little Mermaid dark ride at Magic Kingdom in DC. I know there are a lot of people that are very on it. But that was a great decision to build an Omni mover ride, build something with a bunch of capacity that continually loads people. Seas with Nemo and Friends at Epcot, that was a great idea. Like just have these rides with great capacity. I think you could build a tremendous ride with incredible animatronics and show-stopping scenery. And like if the Encanto ride opened and was an Omni mover, would we be upset? I wouldn't be upset.
No.
That doesn't the ride conveyance, unless you want to try to do something that's never been done before, is irrelevant to me. But I think that's the problem. Is so often I think with ride systems, everyone wants to build something that's like flashy and exciting and draws people to the park, and sometimes that not everything has to be that. Like there are things that could just be higher capacity, man. But like Epic Universe, I could make lunch in the cycle time of Constellation Carousel. When people start to unload and the next cycle gets on and they hit the green button, I could make from scratch a lunch that had to be cooked in the oven. I think I could beat them.
And for the record, Tom doesn't know how to cook. He could still do it.
I'm just talking about throwing like Tyson frozen chicken. Like I could make French fries and like chicken in the oven maybe in the cycle time.
You're right.
Which is too much.
I think like, look, I get it, right? From a marketing side of things, you want to have this great new technology, high-tech, fancy thrill ride or whatever to draw people back. You know, people go to Epcot, and when I have friends come to visit that maybe they're not Disney people, they don't know much about it. They're like, I've heard this Guardians ride is great. I got to go do that, you know, because they've heard about this thing and it's an innovative roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Disney's a storytelling company. So like I'm not offended at all by a ride system that's not super new and innovative that is cleverly employed for the purpose of storytelling. I think Universal is kind of the opposite. I think if you ask about Universal, at least especially 20 years ago, it was less about storytelling. It's more about thrill rides, right? It's like we're appealing to the short attention span, like teenagers that just want to like yell "wee" and scream and get shaken around. But I think Universal's gotten better at storytelling over the years. And I think Disney has gotten better at storytelling in certain ways, and in other ways they rely a little bit too much on outside technology and some of the kind of jazzy stuff of whether it's a trackless ride system or a spinning roller coaster or a simulator. I think there's room for these things that are very practical to the operations of the park that are low, probably require less maintenance. And like put me on it maybe I'm old, but put me on an Omni mover looking at cool new animatronics and tell me a fun story. Like that has not gone out of style. No. What are the most popular rides at the Magic Kingdom? I'm not sure exactly if you rank them day to day, but over time, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, right? It's decidedly low tech. This is tech that wasn't even innovative when it came out.
I mean, it's a small world. It's just that boat ride system and dolls dancing. And look, talking specifically about Horizons, funny enough, the side of the park that Horizons is on, you have Guardians, you have Test Track, then in the middle you have Mission Space. When Mission Space's time is over, which should have been yesterday, but when Mission Space's time is over, would it be a bad thing to have a slow-moving, high-capacity attraction located between the two big e-ticket attractions, and especially something that's family-friendly? Like, not to be that guy, but The Wonders of Life, I think, is still begging for Inside Out. And Inside Out 2 made so much money that I don't think an Inside Out attraction would need to be the most revolutionary new ride system to be great. I think you can have a simple Omni mover through the world of Inside Out, and people would show up because they love that franchise.
Now, are you talking about putting Inside Out in the old Wonders of Life?
I would put in Wonders of Life,
because
but also
operationally, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You build and launch a new attraction in that pavilion, and then you demolish Mission Space and you haven't lost any attractions, right?
But now you
open it
can't
at the same
demolish
time-
Mission Space because you attached a revenue generator to it, which is a restaurant.
Right.
So like that's going to be the interesting problem of getting rid of Mission Space is they kind of probably have to keep the facade, I think, now.
Yeah.
And the right side of the building is a little bit of a challenge because you built a restaurant into it. I'm sure they thought about it. I'm sure there's a way to get the simulators out and knock down the back of the building. But it certainly complicates a Mission Space replacement more so than it would have been before Space 220 opened. But to answer your question, no, I don't think Horizons will return.
All right. Next email. Hello. I'm a big fan of your content. I really appreciated the chance to meet you at the final day of Muppet Vision 3D. I'm in my early 20s, and thanks to creators like Adam and the Woo, Defunctland, and your own channel, I've grown to love learning about the history of theme parks, both what was built and what never made it past the planning stage. Learning about Imagineering and attraction design has shaped how I see theme parks and the art behind them. Lately, though, I've noticed with what feels like a shift in how parks are perceived by general audiences. I've always been the odd one out. I've always been the odd one out for preferring highly themed attractions. Have honestly been called weird for preferring Disney World's parks over something like Islands of Adventure. I can enjoy any coaster, but I'm far more drawn to attractions that emphasize storytelling, atmosphere. Boy, I guess I should have read this one before our last conversation. And design. While there are parks designed primarily for coasters, it feels more like guests who visit highly themed parks are seeking things found at those parks instead. At the same time, it feels like the effort Imagineers put into immersive experiences goes unnoticed, especially when relatively unthemed coasters draw more attention simply by being bigger or tied to a recognizable name. My question for you is whether there is something you've noticed as well. Is it a newer trend, and if you think it could meaningfully influence park design over time? Historically, even when Disney pushed towards thrills in the late 80s and 90s, those attractions still felt innovative and intentional rather than purely spectacle-driven. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether that philosophy can return or how you see the future of themed entertainment evolving. Thank you for your time, for all the work you do reporting on, preserving, and discussing this side of the industry. Best regards, David. Thank you, David, for your wonderful email.
Well, yeah, you already sort of alluded to this, that Universal, I think in the late 2010s, early 2020s, Universal figured out that they could build roller coasters that are really good, like Cedar Point quality thrill roller coasters, but with a little bit of story to them. Maybe that's unfair to Hagrid's. Hagrid's, I think, does a really nice job. Universal doesn't typically more recently, they've had some good ones, but the animatronics on Hagrid's are junk. They're bad. But overall, as a story coaster, like Hagrid's is very good. Velocicoaster is the opposite. Velocicoaster is an excellent roller coaster they're like, we themed it. And you're like,
put a dinosaur over there.
There's a dinosaur on that rock. It's a statue. Enjoy. Oh, we're projecting velociraptors into this tunnel as if they chased the train through it. Oh, wow. The best part of that is the part of the queue where the raptors are locked up and shake around is the best part of the whole thing for me, because I don't care about, I love a good thrilling roller coaster, but that's not, like you, David, that's not the reason I go to the park. I go to be immersed and to see just incredible level of storytelling. So I like with Velocicoaster, I think there's an understanding that, we could build just like a big, really great roller coaster and people will show up on the Universal side of things, because that's what Stardust Racers is. Stardust Racers is not some great achievement in thematic storytelling. In fact, it's kind of a step backwards in that respect. Yep. It is a super fun ride. I love it, but it's kind of almost purely a Cedar Point attraction. If it wasn't for a little bit of rock work they paid for on the front so that it at least looked good in Celestial Park, it's kind of just a Cedar Point thing. I think Universal,
the laziest thing they could have done in that park, which is so impeccably themed everywhere else. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they know, they're like, we got to have one of these. It'll draw crowds. It'll make money. And at the same time, they built Ministry, Battle at the Ministry, and Monsters Unchained, and Mario Kart, which, some of those are my favorite thing ever, and some of them aren't. But nonetheless, there's a quality level with those for sure, where it's pushing the envelope and it's more in line with what Disney is doing. And then there's Stardust in the middle of that, and Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and some of that stuff, which is more like your typical amusement park. amusement park's an unfair word, unfair term, theme park. But certainly not, other than there being a figure of Hiccup and Toothless on wing gliders. Like, there's not. Is there something else about it that's really magnificent?
I think it works really well in the context of the land that you have walked through to get to that coaster, right? So it feels like it feels like it belongs there.
Yeah.
And the queue is simple but effective at immersing you in that idea because it is cohesive to the area around it. And
what queue?
Well, I mean, there's some.
There's an entrance hut, which is great, and then you're just under.
I think what I'm saying is like it's simple, but the land is the people that live in Burke are simple people, right? They're no frills.
But then like look at the rest of Burke though. Like that center area of Burke is magnificent.
Yeah.
The attractions are where that land falls apart.
Well, where it falls apart is Stardust Racers dominating the sight lanes.
But the answer is like Disney can't get away with it. Disney's not going to build. Disney tried. Disney tried to build unthemed roller coasters for a little while. Primeval Whirl, and the proof is in the pudding. That Dino-Rama did not work. It never worked for people. It wasn't a draw to the point at which Disney eventually was like, we could close this and no one would even care. And that's what happened with Primeval Whirl. Now, obviously, that's just a wild mouse and not a big roller coaster. But I think there's a commitment within Disney that they know the standard of a thrill ride is, you just mentioned like the late 80s, early 90s. Their thrill ride standard is still there. It is Tower of Terror and Splash Mountain and, Expedition Everest. And it does have to be at that level of immersion. They can't just build... Disney does not get DCA. They got in that business a little bit with California Screamin', and I think again the proof was in the pudding there because, it worked for people, but it wasn't the highlight of the park. The thing that won out in that park was Soarin', which I don't think is the height of Imagineering either, but it's certainly more immersive and more in the realm of a Disney attraction than California Screamin' was. So I don't look. Are tastes changing? Yeah, but I think people. Considering regional amusement parks and theme parks are trying harder to put theming and storytelling in, that sets the bar higher for Disney and Universal. And so I think guests expect more. Guests expect to walk into like Place Cachet in Ministry of Magic or Super Nintendo World or Pandora or Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and fully be immersed in that world. And it doesn't matter which company they are. So those expectations are still there. And I don't think the world has changed in a way where people are going to go to Disney and Universal and expect less or want less.
Yeah, the type of quality storytelling takes time.
Yeah,
and so like Tron aside, which took way too long for anything.
Yeah,
some of these coasters that other theme parks put up don't require a whole lot of things other than assembly on site, right? Some engineering and assembly.
Yeah, that's not fair to the people that have to like figure out the design of the coaster track.
Right, but they're buying these from a coaster manufacturer.
But once the track layout is designed and decided upon, then it goes to manufacturing and then it's thrown together.
But something like, I don't know, I'll just pull one. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, right? There's a lot of detail in there. There's a lot of infrastructure that's not just the ride track. You're indoors and you're outdoors and you have animatronics and you have music and you have sound engineering and you have all these things going on at the same time that make it much more complicated to build something like that. So what the theme park people what the executives have to decide is what's more important, right? Do I want immersive storytelling or do I want to get a bunch of people in this park? And unfortunately, the shortcut is like, let's build something cheap and quick and get it out there. And every company is guilty of that, right? There are plenty of Disney attractions you can look at over history and say, ooh, that was not really up to standard. And there are plenty of competitors in the marketplace that they never try to achieve that standard, right? You could say Cedar Fair, I would say, is like they're about the thrills.
Yeah.
Right? They're investing in creating a thrilling experience, and storytelling is like, we gave the roller coaster a name. It has a light theme, and we might have even licensed some IP to do it.
But those guests have that expectation, right? That's what that park is known for. So people expect a big thrilling roller coaster, and they don't necessarily expect a bunch of theming. With Disney and Universal, I think people expect to be immersed, especially coming off of the 2010s, coming off of Harry Potter and Avatar and Star Wars and all at Cars Land. Coming off of those projects, the world's expectations are you're going to step into a land and be fully immersed in a world that you've seen on screen. And I think people are willing to accept outdoor roller coasters without theming because they're fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think that means that if Universal purely built a park tomorrow of just unthemed roller coasters, I don't think that it would be the success they're having with Epic, because
It's not who they're trying to be.
yeah, because Epic, the attendance they've managed to muster at Epic is because of the power of Super Nintendo World and Harry Potter. That's what's done it. And it's because people expect those worlds to be immersive because they're like, oh, I went to Harry Potter at the other two parks and it was immersive and I felt like I was in this thing I love. And that's the focus. That's where the industry is, and that's where it's going to continue to go at the moment. But I don't think the expectation has changed. Look, there's always going to be a segment of the world. We are hardcore park fans, and so we're always going to look down upon the people that go to a theme park and are like, I'm just here to ride a fun ride, and I don't care about theme or story or any of that. And we always, we know about the art that goes into these things and the work that goes into them, and we admire and appreciate that. And so the minute someone doesn't admire and appreciate that, we're very snobby. And rightfully so, I think. But
You can sense it immediately, right? You can feel it when you go to these places. You're like, this just doesn't feel like they cared, right? Or this doesn't feel like it was a project.
But that's like if you go with people, like I go to the park sometimes with people that aren't, extended family or the like, that aren't as into it as I am. And you have to you treat that very differently than going to the park with people that work at this company or other fans.
I'm not big on critiquing every detail of walking through and pointing out things. I just walk in and you feel it or you don't, right? It's like, I feel like Wizarding Paris is, you're like, this is real. This feels real. It's great.
Yeah.
When you do it, you don't have to, you don't have to point out why it works and why it doesn't.
When it's perfect, you don't critique it though.
Right.
The critique comes when you stop and for a second are taken out of it because there's something where you're like, that doesn't quite work.
Yeah. All right, last email. This is from Matthew. Hi, Eric and Tom. Was wondering what other theme parks Tom will be visiting in Europe next after experiencing Efteling. I think Fantasyland with a PH.
Is that Fantasialand?
Okay, yeah, it's just spelled fantasy, but there's no Fantasia. Okay, Fantasialand and Europa Park in Germany are the best two theme parks in Europe. I think you should also experience Park Asterix, which will be very easy because it's 10 minutes from Charles de Gaulle Airport. It's an excellent theme amusement park based on the Asterix novel. Tipsdrill is a small theme park in Germany, but I think it might just be Tom's favorite place in the world. From Matthew.
I've never even heard of that.
Tipsdrill.
Tipsdrill.
Tripsdrill. Tripsdrill.
How do you spell it?
Tripsdrill.
Exactly how it sounds.
Tripsdrill.
Amusement park Tripsdrill. I've never heard. Germany's oldest amusement park.
Oh, cool.
I got to add this to the list.
I've only been to one theme park in Europe, Tivoli.
Tivoli, yeah. I still haven't been.
Yeah, it's great.
Europa is definitely on the list. Fantasialand people keep bringing up, and I'm like, maybe, and I'm sure it'll happen. Those are the two. But I also need to go back to Efteling because I love Efteling so much. Efteling's the best.
My friend Scott I remember him sending me pictures he's been to several theme parks in Europe.
Yeah.
One of them is you're seated in the ride vehicle and you reach over and hit the start button. So you are the ride operator. I got to find out what that.
It's good to know Bob Chapek found another job in the industry.
I'll have to find that from Scott.
You are the ride operator. The cast members are the entertainment.
All right. I have a little bit of a brief program here for this episode. Now that we've wrapped up Voices of Literacy and Weird Snack Time. We're going to go over the things that we're expecting in 2026. New things coming to Disney parks in 2026.
Bluey.
Bluey is among them.
Should we just get Bluey out of the way now because that doesn't apply to us at all?
Sure. Disney's adding Bluey-themed live shows, interactive experiences, and character meet and greets at Walt Disney World, Disneyland and Disney Cruise Line sailings, I think, at least on the Dream and the Wish.
Man, I can't wait for us to be the awkward adults in the back of the Disney Cruise Line Bluey experience filming children. Can't wait. Always fun
Maybe
to
we'll
film
skip that one.
things meant for small children as a, Disney news site.
The Bluey thing's it's a sensation, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be huge.
I've watched Bluey. It's funny.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I
And
like
very
it.
heartfelt.
Yeah, it's great. And so why not? If
Long
you have
overdue.
Access to bring this to people. Why would you not do that? It makes a lot of sense. Probably not a huge investment to do it.
Do you remember the first Bluey Disney Park experience, the one we got shut down?
Oh,
Do you remember this story?
it wasn't that long ago.
No, it was probably, I want to say October or November of 2023.
I just don't remember.
Fort Wilderness. So we were staying at Fort Wilderness for Halloween, and we were there past Halloween. On November 1st, the activities change. And so every month at all the resorts, or majority of them, there's like a scavenger hunt you can do. Fort has a scavenger hunt. You go pick it up at the bike barn. It's an activity you could do. And they had, starting November 1st, a Bluey scavenger hunt. And so we went and covered it because Bluey was already a huge deal.
And the whole world came to Fort Wilderness the next day.
I think so, but it was gone. So here's what happened is I think at Fort, whoever put the scavenger hunt activity together thought, well, we have that show on Disney, on our Disney channels and streaming service.
We don't need to clear this with legal.
We must have the rights to it.
Nope.
It turns out they did not. And so the owners of Bluey asked Walt Disney World to please end the scavenger hunt because they didn't have the rights to it. But I don't know. Did that open up the conversation to get Bluey legally into the parks? Were they already having that conversation?
Surely they were already having that conversation. We already know that someone at Bluey had a point of contact at Walt Disney World.
But did Disney Parks... Here's the thing, is it's not a Disney-owned property, and it's also a television show, and sometimes those two things are things that Disney doesn't chase after to put in the parks. Because TV shows, they always feel like there's a real short shelf life. It doesn't pay to build something for them. And then also, it's on top of that, it was a TV show they don't own. So I wonder when someone in the company was like, we really got to do something about this.
People love Bluey.
People do. I mean, it's a great show. It's going to be huge. Those editions are going to be ginormous. We can talk. Here's the bummer, folks. We're going to mention a bunch of things that you and I are probably way more excited about. I say probably. I say definitely, I should say. More excited about. But the biggest draw on this list this year is going to be Bluey.
Probably.
Undoubtedly.
All right. These are not necessarily in order of when we expect them. But right around the corner, March 29th, World of Frozen opens at Disneyland Paris.
Yes. Disney Adventure World open.
Disney Adventure World. Excuse me.
Do you have all the other stuff open in that day?
No, there's going to be a new nighttime spectacular. There's going to be
Cascade of Lights.
Cascade of Lights. There's going to be
Rapunzel Tangled Spin.
The new
spinner
restaurant.
Ride. Yeah, a Regal View. Restaurant and Lounge, the first bar in either of the parks in Paris. They've never had a bar in either of them.
It's going to be a big day, March 29th in Paris. So
I assume we will be there.
We'll see. That is only a few days before we have to leave for Japan.
Yep.
All right. Soarin' Across America will make its debut in 2026 sometime. We don't have any specific information on that one yet.
Yeah, we do.
Do we have the date?
We have dates.
I thought it was like summer.
Walt Disney World. No, Walt Disney World is, it says before Memorial Day. And then I believe it's July 2nd in California. It's like July 4th weekend in California. Yeah.
Soarin' Across America.
I was right. Memorial Day, by Memorial Day at Epcot, and on July 2nd, 2026 at DCA.
All right. There you have it. I'm excited about that one because I really don't like the current iteration of Soarin'. I never have, not since the first time I saw it. It looks like there was a video game in like the 90s called like missed or riven. There were two that were like, that's what it looks like to me, like fake. Especially the Taj Mahal scene, and every scene has to have something disrupt you to get in a way to cut to the next scene. A kite ripping across your view, or an airplane, or it's just.
Because it was specifically made for the Chinese audience. It was made for Shanghai Disney, and it just so happened. I mean, I get it. Disney World, Disneyland were like, well, that'd be exciting to have a new film. Why not?
Yeah.
But it's made for a very different audience from us, which is it needs to look big and bold, and there needs to be exciting. And what makes it exciting? Well, things almost hitting you.
Things that are fake.
Yeah.
It needs to be big, bold, and fake.
The ice needs to calf, and this needs to happen, and the plane's going to almost hit you. And
make the baby polar bear stand up and look.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good.
Thank you.
Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets coming this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to, of course, original Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith closing forever on March 1st. This is a good time to plug our event, which registration is not open yet unless you're a WIGS member. So go to Patreon and Discord if you're a WIGS member. But the Sweet Emotional Farewell Tour, a tribute to Rock and Roller Coaster, is February 28th. We have 5, as of right now, 5 of the Imagineers who brought that attraction to life are going to be joining us, and hopefully we'll be announcing a few more special guests and Imagineers for that event. But registration will open to the general public sometime this coming week. But if you're a WIGS member, you can already register for Sweet Emotional Farewell Tour, February 28th.
If you'd like to be a WIGS member, go to patreon.com/WDWNT. Or
we're also
WDWNT.com/Patreon.
There is a special limited edition of just 50 ticket to the event, which includes an evening with Jerry Rees, a great Disney Imagineer who worked on so many of the video attractions or pre-shows. Dinosaur pre-show, Rock and Roller Coaster pre-show, worked on Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, Cinemagique, so many great things. He's going to be spending a whole evening with us the night before the event, and that is a WIGS-only event on February 27th. He's going to be joining us, and then February 28th is the event with all the Rock and Roller Coaster Imagineers.
May 22nd, I have the date, I think, for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run story update. So
for the
no longer is the engineer relegated to boredom. The engineer now gets to choose destinations and interact with Grogu.
Yeah. You're just in the back going, it's a good Grogu. You're a good eating macarons in the back.
Can I?
Grogu.
I guess
he eats macarons. They're blue macarons.
Why does this take so long? They announced this a long time ago. Why does it take so long to just?
Because it spoils the movie, so they're waiting for the release day of the movie.
Oh. And they don't want to have it done by May the 4th because people are already going to come for Star Wars stuff.
But
they'll bring them back a few weeks later.
But the movie's not out.
Yeah.
They got to wait for the movie. You can't spoil the movie before the movie's out.
There are new locales.
I'm so excited for Falcon to be maybe worthwhile again. That ride I loved it the first time, and it's despite being interactive, is somehow the least re-rideable ride ever. I don't understand why, but it just feels that way.
They should have. We could go on and on about this, and some people are going to disagree with me. They should have an advanced program where you actually can compete, like you can for other rides that they have, score-wise, but where you actually can get matched up with people who are qualified to do their job as opposed to just with the random family from Michigan. So where you have a 4-year-old as the right pilot and grandma as the left pilot, and you're banging into everything and nobody knows what they're doing. I think that's great family fun, but I think there should be a competitive version. They could have a tournament week. Yeah. Where all the hardcore riders can go.
I had to convince my father. It took several months to get him back on that ride because the first time we rode it, they put 2 kids in the front seats, and all we did was just ride the ground. And he's like, I don't feel good. I'm not going on that again. And so it took several months to explain to him that the children were driving it and we should try to drive ourselves. But it did happen. You know the story of all the buttons in the cockpit, right?
What do you mean with the story of the button?
So there's buttons you hit, they light up for you.
Yeah.
But then there are hundreds of buttons around them.
Yeah.
Those were all supposed to work. The original idea was you'd have to hit just about anything in that cockpit. They had to tone it down because I think management was
too
like,
much.
you can't expect guests to just reach all over the place. You have to dumb this down. And I look, if it were going to light up anyway, is it that big of a problem that people got to like look for the buttons or the switch? I think it could have worked. I don't know.
To me, the highlight of that ride is just being there on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, the queue, like, from the moment you get on the Falcon, the queue is fantastic, and the cockpit is beautiful, and there's a magic to it the first time, and then after that, once you like have been on it 2 or 3 times, you're like, I'm tired of this, which they knew, which is why it was supposed to have randomization and different destinations and different missions, and they just didn't carry it out.
All right. Just around the corner, spring of 2026 brings the return of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin with enhanced gameplay and visuals.
The Magic Kingdom is a rough park when you've been to the other castle parks around the world, because it's in so many cases we have the worst versions of everything. Pirates is one that comes to mind. But Buzz Lightyear is one where we had the first one, and it was super cool when it opened. But then once you went on the Disneyland one, you're like, oh, man, their guns come out of the holster. Oh, and you could actually see where you're shooting. Oh, and the targets light up. And then you just came back here, and you're like, well, this one's lame now. Yeah. And then we lived with that lame one for 20 more years after the newer version opened. For 20 years, we refused to update the ride. And now finally, we've got new vehicles. We got new blasters. You can actually see where you're aiming at all times. The targets light up. We got a new original character in Buddy, which I'm excited about. Maybe Buddy will end up on a magnet someday. She qualifies. She's an original character. I'm so excited that Buzz Lightyear got love. And then same for Big Thunder, where it's the worst Big Thunder. Other than the view across the river, which was magnificent and now dead. Other than that, it was the worst Big Thunder. The Paris and the Disneyland ones just have a lot going for them.
I still love it, though. And
yeah, I do too, but I hate Magic Kingdom always feeling like they don't care. I hate always feeling like that management's like, just run the ride into oblivion.
Why doesn't the #1 tourist destination in the world have the best of everything?
Exactly, or at least a competitive version. Haunted Mansion, I think we do have the best one.
Maybe.
I believe
Probably,
that. Yeah. But like some of these other ones, it's like, what are you doing? Like Disney, and it's because these other parks will update those rides, and it's like 20 years later, we're finally like, oh, we should spend money and fix the old rides. Yeah. Apparently, that's a thing other parks do. Let's do it. So Big Thunder's exciting. A new opening scene. They retracked the whole ride. There's probably something new in the finale. They're not willing to tell us yet. They said there's more surprises to come. But I like that. Magic Kingdom look, say what you want about the Cars thing, but between getting 2 new rides there, the whole Villains Land, the first ever in the world, and these updates to Carousel of Progress, Big Thunder Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, fixing the paint on the castle. These are all really good things that are going to make Magic Kingdom not only bring Magic Kingdom up to snuff, but maybe make Magic Kingdom unique and different enough that it stands up on its own, that it really can compete with the other castle parks as far as quality is concerned. And you're right. It is the most visited one in the world. Why does it not believe? Why does the management of that park not believe in spending the money to make their attractions good enough for guests?
Yeah. And it's not even fair to say that Big Thunder Mountain is a refurbishment. I mean, it is rebuilt from the
other than the mountain itself.
Everything
it is
on there
mostly
is like,
new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to is it gonna be too smooth though? We're gonna be like, oh, that was too smooth.
Maybe. The Tokyo, what's funny is Tokyo might be the worst Big Thunder. Tokyo has a toned down Big Thunder. Like the track layout is a little less scary, but also because they do great maintenance, it's very smooth. So I call it the mildest ride in the wilderness. Like, you know the part before the final lift hill on Big Thunder where you duck into that mine, the car just goes, whoa. In Tokyo, it just goes, just very, very smooth little.
I have heard that they're less tolerant of thrills.
I think things have changed a lot, but I think in the 80s, for sure, they were scared about giving them an attraction that was too thrilling that the audience wouldn't be up for it. Mm-hmm. So I think they felt like Space Mountain was the limit, and then They really wanted Big Thunder, but I think they just were like, that one dip is too much. You got to tone down that crazy dip. They're like, it's a runaway train. It's like, it can run away, but it should run away nicely. It should run away safely, the runaway train. They're like, do you know what a runaway train is, OLC? Yes, but still safety.
We do not have trains that run away in our country.
Listen, this American concept of a runaway train or a train that maybe isn't on time, we don't understand. But we've been on this ride and it seems fun. So we would like one. A train is late? What?
All right, we have some new cruise line itineraries, a lot of stuff going on in Texas, and the new, obviously, Port Canaveral growing with the addition of the Destiny and stuff.
There's a new ship.
Continue to go. And the Disney Adventure.
Yeah.
Launching very soon.
March 10th.
March 10th.
Yeah. Oh, it is Super Mario Day. Yeah, I don't think that's going to apply to the ship, but yes, it is.
So I'm excited about this because this ship, although I may never get to sail on it, it looks amazing. Like the leaked photos that people have posted online and stuff, if those are real, it looks, I mean, first of all, it's just huge.
Yeah.
It's just gigantic. And like Disney cruise ships are big, but even if you've been in port next to, say, an Oasis class like Royal Caribbean, you look and you're like, I remember I was in Naples and we were on the Fantasy and there was an Oasis class ship like moored kind of nearby, and looking, like walking back to the port, and you're like, this thing is like not only taller, but it's like twice as wide. And the Adventure's like that too. The Adventure has multiple hallways of interior staterooms.
6,000 people it'll hold? 6,000 people. That is a lot more than any existing, by thousands, more than
Disney
any
ship.
existing Disney cruise ship. Obviously, they bought a ship that was already being built, so it is not designed like any DCL ship before. That's, I think, given some interesting challenges, and I know that whenever we do get to see the ship, I'm sure those challenges will be evident. I think this was a big learning curve, and I don't know.
Amazing.
I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to have the charm and the wonder of any of the existing fleet.
The wonder, no pun.
No pun intended. But I worry because I look at the list of like amenities, and it's like Mike and Sully's Flavors of Asia. I'm like, what is this? And there's like a hibachi side, but there's also a like multiple course dinner, and it's all over the place. There's a weird Palo Trattoria thing.
I'm so interested in going on this ship because it's going to be so different, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm intrigued.
Even most brand new Disney cruise ships, and I've been on all of them, you're excited and there's going to be some new stuff you see, but you immediately are like, okay, I kind of know the formula.
If you've been on a Disney cruise,
Right.
it's all familiar.
And I think this is going to be wild. This is going to be something totally different. And it's doing super short cruises to nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so this ship that is way more to explore than any ship that they have in the fleet, you're going to have no time to explore it.
And some of it you won't get to see because there's so many passengers, and the way Disney does their rotational dining, they had to essentially break up. There are two different rotations because the restaurant venues weren't big enough to put 1/3 of the ship in. So I think there's 6 restaurants in the rotation. Because they had to like split them in half, so there's 2 of each.
Are they 2-night cruises?
They're 3-night. I think.
3 nights.
But there's essentially 2 of each kind of restaurant. So there's 2 of the Princess restaurant. They're slightly different. There's 2 of like the Mickey and Friends restaurant. They're kind of different. And I forget what the third type.
I'm going to have to back this. I mean, it makes sense if you're going to Singapore to back this ship, I think.
Yeah. If that's the purpose of you going, but there's also things to see in Singapore.
There's other stuff to do.
I have a whole list of things I'd like to see in Singapore.
Disney Tales of Magic? Is that the new show in Paris?
That's the one that exists already.
Does it already exist?
Yeah, I've seen it several
why it's on my
times.
list. Okay.
Cascade of Lights is the new one at
Adventure World.
Adventure World, yeah, which I'm super excited about. I think that's going to be the new standard for Disney Nighttime Spectaculars worldwide. Paris, with the drones, has continually changed the game over and over. And now they're going to have them in the water. There's completely new ones that can get closer to guests than ever before. That combined with mist screens and pyro and barges, and it's going to be spectacular. I think that's going to be the hit. I think people are going to show up for World of Frozen, but the thing they're going to leave that park talking about is that nighttime show.
I didn't tell you this ahead of time. I came up with 3 little small wishes for 2026.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are big. Some of them are just little idiosyncrasies that I would like to see addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any you'd like to see.
Go ahead. Well, give me
I'll
yours
start.
and I'll figure
Number 1,
some out.
a CEO named soon.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it is.
I can name the CEO right now. It's Josh tomorrow.
Yeah, but I want to know officially soon.
Is it usually February, March? I think it's going to be February, March. I think we're a couple weeks away from Josh officially. There's going to be that transition period where he's going to have to shadow Bob for a little bit, but I think it's imminent. I think before D23 would be my guess. That's Josh's big coming out party. It'll be that.
Okay, and then these are both like very, very small things. We've had annual pass holder like lanes at the park entrances for a while.
Yeah.
And you do go through a little faster maybe because people know what they're doing or familiarity and maybe less people, a steady stream, but not so much surge early in the morning or whatever. I would trade that for an annual pass holder lane at the parking terminals, at the toll plaza.
Yeah.
Because you know you're not going to be exchanging. There's nothing worse than like you're picking a lane. You're like, oh, there's only one car ahead of me here, and then those people are commence to like conducting the most complicated transaction in history that takes 42 minutes to park, and they ask them 100 questions and all that kind of stuff. I would love it. Everybody in this lane knows what they're doing and has their annual pass out, and you zip through there in a parking lane. How hard could that be? I would think that'd be good for them too.
Disneyland Paris. I had never been. It had been many years since I'd been to the standard parking, but because we stayed at Davy Crockett Ranch, we had to have the rental car and drive over. So drive over, we get to the gate, and I realize there's no human there. There are scanners. So I take out the annual pass, and I scan it, and the gate opens, and you go in.
That's great.
I would love this. This would be great. Please
I will
give us this.
get it added to my Sun Pass somehow. Just have the thing that opens. My Sun Pass already works in like 22 states or something like that.
Orange
Just
Bird
add
Pass.
Disney parking to that.
It's with the orange bird on it.
Orange Bird Pass. Incidentally, this morning I went to Animal Kingdom on my way to work. That is a lot. It's fun to be able to say that, I guess. Some people are like, what? Yeah, on my way to work, I did stop. I did rope drop Animal Kingdom to get a couple things and then, was out of there within an hour. One thing that has always annoyed me parking Animal Kingdom. Well, first of all, the 2 newest Disney parks in Walt Disney World, Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom have the worst parking.
Yeah.
The setup for it's like they didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to cross exiting traffic all the time, and there's.
Yeah.
But the thing that has always bugged me at Animal Kingdom is you kind of go in and you kind of immediately do almost a U-turn, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing you look at is like a bunch of cars of the cast members like haphazardly parked on the grass right there. But why can't you build them a parking lot? That looks like crap.
For the people for the ones that work at the toll plaza.
Yes, for a company that prides itself on good show, the first thing you see when you pull in that parking lot, other than the back of a bunch of frickin' buildings that are in the park in the distance, as you pull that U-turn, you just see like cars just haphazardly parked there in the grass for the employees. I think that looks like crap.
It does. Here's my wild guess. You ready for my wild guess of what happened? My guess is originally the toll plaza cast parked in the cast parking like everyone else, and then someone took them over in a van. I would guess that van service was budget cut at some point, and so someone in management was like, well, they could just park on this grassy knoll next to it, and it'll be fine.
Just pave it.
And then it was never addressed.
If they pave it, it all seems normal now. Yeah. Just pave it so it doesn't look so. Weird. The first thing I see when I pull in Animal Kingdom is a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hollywood Studios, there is parking for them there, isn't there?
Yep.
I off to the side.
Yes.
They gave them like a parking.
But that whole parking area is new, right?
So they thought about it now enough to be like, oh, this has to be.
I say new.
Epcot. I think Epcot. I think they do like, I don't know. I've never worked this role or spoken to anyone who's ever worked this role. Do they drive them over to the booths at Epcot?
If you work in the toll plazas,
I'd love to know. Or if you have,
maybe I'm
and Magic
wrong
Kingdom,
about
there's no cars there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would like to know.
Anyway, and my last wish is just for fast, productive construction. I don't want to just keep looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
nonstop for months at a time. I would like to see steady progress on all this stuff because, everything seems to take so long. That stupid Floridian Place construction has been going on for years, and it's literally like a quarter mile of road and a roundabout.
Yeah.
And I look at all the work they're doing on the opposite side of the road now, which is to Villains Land, and you're like, come on, dude. Please, just let's get some urgency here. And if I could have a fourth wish, change your plans and add our Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman coaster behind the Haunted Mansion as our mini land transition to Villains Land. Do you have any wishes?
I have one, and it's the same wish I've always had. And that wish is that in 2026, Disney will finally announce a new Figment ride.
Oh, yeah.
That is my expectation of D23. I know it's not in the works. I know it's not in the plans. I would like to be surprised. I would like for the Walt Disney Company, someone somewhere, to take the initiative to force Walt Disney World to do this project. Enough is enough. There are, I don't know how many new Figment merchandise items there's been in the last 4 months, but we got to be over 50. It's got to be. I would love to know what the revenue is on Figment merchandise. It has got to be a nice chunk of change. And if it is, then imagine how much more you can make if the ride was good. It's time. Enough time has passed. Enough is enough. This is the next thing that has to happen at Epcot. No ifs, ands, or buts.
And don't trick us on the stage either.
Well, look, I like the meet and greet. Don't get me wrong. I was happy with that announcement. Do I want the ride more? Yeah, but I love the fact that he's there. Having a Figment meet and greet is a wonderful thing. He now needs a good ride. In fact, he needs a great ride. And in fact, he needs the greatest ride ever built. So that's my task to them, is spend the money, believe in the project, believe in the character. The money will come. But enough is enough. You've yanked our chain enough. It is time for this thing to get done.
Well, there you have it.
It's the only wish I need fulfilled.
Share with us your 2026 wishes. We'll see what we can do.
Wishes.
Put it in the comments.
I just want to plug real quick our 2 new channels. First of all, WDWNT POV. Go subscribe over there. That's where all of our on-ride videos, show videos, everything from inside the parks, vlog content, dining reviews, it's all going to be over there. Room tours, WDWNT POV. And then what I'm most excited about is our new channel called The Parkive. It's at Diz Parkive, Parkhive, Parkive, but it's Theme Park Archive is what it's short for. We made a nonsense.
We did
word.
try it with a C.
Didn't look
tried
good.
all the spellings.
Parkchive was no
good.
good. Parkhive is where it's at. And this is where we're going to celebrate the history and the stories behind the places we love so much. We've already launched Disney Decades on that channel. But shortly after you watch this podcast, probably the next day, we filmed an entire, by popular demand, we filmed an entire multi-hour tour of the museum here at WDWNT Celebration with me. So that's finally going to be something you can all watch and experience. And then we're also going to be sharing a lot of our historical event videos. So several great panels from Disney Imagineers of the past are coming to this new channel over the next several weeks. And that'll be the home for the Jerry Rees interview we're going to be doing in a couple weeks' time, and so many other great things we have planned, including Materially Disney, which we've teased 100 times. But this is the year. This is the year that Materially Disney debuts.
I'm going to add that to my wishes.
We have the channel for it now.
Materially
the Parkive
Disney
is where it will live. So please go subscribe to both of those now. We appreciate the support, and there's already content coming out on those channels. More to come, but several shows have already launched. Go give them a watch.
It's on my list. Now it has to happen.
That's what happened. He wrote on a sheet of paper.
I wrote it.
That's going to be thrown out.
It's called manifesting.
60 seconds from now.
Maybe.
Now that's enough.
Now that's enough. All right, we'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast.
We'll see you real soon.